Hello everybody, now we are going to study the topic of the climate. The climate has three elements. The three elements are the following. The climate has the longitude, latitude, and the relief. These are the three elements of the climate: longitude, latitude, and relief. Now, what is the latitude? What is the longitude? Let's suppose that this is the Earth. The Earth is like an orange. It is circle in the sides and flat here in the top and here in the bottom. Flat in the top, flat in the bottom, but circle in the sides. The Earth has some imaginary lines. La Tierra tiene algunas líneas imaginarias. The lines that are lateral, like these lateral lines is the latitude. The latitude is the lateral lines. Okay, the lateral lines is the latitude. The latitude, that means lateral. Here in the middle of the Earth, there is a line called the equator line. This in the middle is the equator line. The equator line. I'm going to draw it here. The equator line. Like in the middle of the Earth. This one is the equator line. And it is 0 degrees. 0 degrees, the equator line. The latitude is the lateral lines, like this, lateral lines. They are imaginary lines. And the longitude here in the Earth is the vertical lines. Vertical lines, like this one in red. The vertical lines in the Earth. This vertical line is called the Greenwich meridian. Greenwich meridian. I'm going to write here the Greenwich meridian. This one, this is the Greenwich meridian. Greenwich meridian, and this is the equator line. These black lines, the lateral lines, the latitude, are parallels. They are called parallels. The main parallel is the equator line, but there are other parallels. For example, this parallel is called the Tropic of Cancer. This is the Tropic of Cancer. This parallel is called the Tropic of Cancer. This parallel is the equator line, and this parallel is called the Tropic of Capricorn. Tropic of Capricorn. Tropic of Capricorn. These are parallels, and this is the latitude. Now, the latitude itself is the distance from any of these points to the north and to the south. For example, the latitude from here to this point. The distance, la medida entre cualquier punto de la línea de Ecuador hacia el sur o hacia el norte. The distance. This is the latitude. Latitude. Now, this is the Greenwich Meridian. All of these lines, cada una de estas líneas son llamados meridianos. Meridians are vertical lines in the earth. They are imaginary lines. The main meridian is the Greenwich Meridian. The Greenwich Meridian. And these are other meridians. Now, the distance, for example, from this to this meridian is called the longitude. This is the longitude. La distancia entre cualquiera de los puntos de esta línea, de este meridiano de Greenwich, hacia el este o hacia el oeste. So let's remember the cardinal points. This is north, north. This is east. This is south. And this is west. North, east, south, west. So the distance from any point here in the Greenwich Meridian to west or to east is the longitude. Longitude. Now, this equator line divides the earth into two. La línea del Ecuador divide a la Tierra en dos hemisferios. So the first hemisphere from this to this is the northern hemisphere. Northern hemisphere. This is the northern hemisphere. Northern hemisphere, and this is the southern hemisphere. Southern hemisphere, northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere. Two hemispheres divided by the equator line. This is the equator line. Now, these are the poles. This is the North Pole and the South Pole. Los polos. North Pole and the South Pole. Here I have a space. I'm going to write South Pole. South Pole. This is the South Pole and the North Pole. North Pole, South Pole. And this is the longitude and latitude of the Earth. Remember, the lateral lines are parallels. These are parallels, parallels, parallel, parallel, and parallel. These are used to measure the latitude. And This one is called the Tropic of Cancer. Tropic of Cancer, the equator line, and the Tropic of Capricorn. Tropic of Capricorn. El punto de referencia entonces para la latitud es la línea del Ecuador, the equator line. Y el punto de referencia para la longitud es el meridiano de Greenwich. This one, the blue. The Greenwich meridian is the point of reference for longitude, and the equator line is the point of reference for the latitude. And there are two hemispheres, the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. There are three main parallels. There is the Tropic of Cancer, the equator line, and the Tropic of Capricorn. Now, these tropics are used to know what is the climate in each of these parts. For example, from the Tropic of Cancer to the Tropic of Capricorn is the warm zone. So from here to here, all of this part is the warm zone, la zona o el área cálida de la Tierra. This is the warm zone. All of this part is the warm zone, la zona cálida. So, from the Tropic of Cancer to the Tropic of Capricorn is the warm zone of the Earth. And this part, and this part is the temperate zone. The temperate zone. This and this is the temperate zone in the Earth. And in this part is the cold zone. La zona fría, acá en los polos. This is the cold zone of the Earth. So, warm zone, temperate zone, and cold zone. Three main climates of the Earth. Cold, temperate, warm, temperate, cold. Here, Colombia is in the warm zone. Colombia is in the warm zone. United States, los Estados Unidos de América here, United States is in the temperate zone. And that's it, the longitude and the latitude.